दोस्तों गुड मॉर्निंग। मैं समझता हूँ यू ऑल मस्ट बी हेल एंड हार्टी। बहुत ठंडी हवा चल रही है एंड आई थॉट आई शुड टॉक टू यू अबाउट द अमेरिकन इलेक्शन। आप जानते हो कि अमेरिका इज़ ऑफ कोर्स वन ऑफ द ओल्डेस्ट डेमोक्रेसीज इन द वर्ल्ड एंड राइट फ्रॉम 1776 when the American Revolution took place, America has been a democracy. And it's a democracy in the true sense as far as their internal matters are concerned. So we are concerned about democracy in America. Now if you remember, the last election हुआ था in 2020, and at that time Donald Trump, who was the sitting president, lost the election. Well, he lost it certainly, but I think there's more than meets the eye. But I'll not comment on it now because 4 years have elapsed and various charges have been framed against Donald Trump for trying to bring about a military coup and also trying to overthrow the elected government and all sorts of weird charges, Some personal charges, like he had paid some money to some lady, Stormy Daniels, for that, for example, and so many other things. Most of these charges are politically contrived. And I think 2 states in America have disenfranchised Donald Trump from standing for president. Matter is before the Supreme Court. But despite all that, इस वक्त जो situation है in America, Donald Trump is a front runner as far as the Republican Party is concerned. And not only that, he is leading by many points over the incumbent president, that is Joe Biden. He's much ahead of him also. If you ask me personally, मेरे ख्याल में Donald Trump is a revolutionary figure. और अफसोस की बात है that he lost the election in 2020. But in 2024, I think there's a good chance that he'll be back as president. And America, which has been caught off keel, has been sinking, perhaps will be able to resurrect itself. One thing, let's accept the fact that Donald Trump had very clear ideas about the world. I think he had opened out to the North Koreans. He had 2 meetings with Kim, the North Korean dictator. He also had a meeting with Putin, and he respected him very much. In addition, he was also of the view that Pakistan is a terrorist state. Now that's a very important thing because he's the first American president who put it in writing that Pakistan is a perfidious, a liar state, and it is a supporter of terrorism against America. Again, a very important point was that he also felt in his earlier statement that NATO is an obsolete organization, and in case NATO has to be sustained, the European powers who are paying a minuscule amount of payment must pay for the defense. That is very correct. But unfortunately, these things didn't resonate with some people. And the biggest contribution for which he should have got the Nobel Prize is the Abraham Accord, in which I think 4 Arab countries recognize the existence of Israel. It's a very big thing. And unfortunately, the way things function, Barack Obama, who did nothing, was given the Nobel Prize for Peace. And Donald Trump, who did such a momentous thing, was left out. America, just मैंने कहा, is a democracy at home and dictatorship abroad. At home, their democracy goes to the extreme. Extreme in the sense, it is a lopsided democracy. And I don't think that is the correct way, because Joe Biden, as president, tries his level best to pin some charges on Donald Trump. He's forgetting that his own son is almost like a traitor to the American state, and there are allegations that he has been taking some having some underhand deals with the Chinese. And that's a very dangerous thing. And Donald Trump had made it very clear that China was not a friend. While Joe Biden, the moment he came up, he said China is not an enemy, it is just a competitor. It's not a rival. So you see the way Joe Biden's mind functioned. He was looking for a way in which he could ingratiate himself with the Chinese. He He thought he'll be ingratiating him with the Chinese like Lyndon Johnson and what is the name of the gentleman? Richard Nixon. And when he had opened out to America, to China. So, gentlemen, these are the facts of life, and we must be very clear that what's happening is not entirely for the good of America. You have presidents like Bill Clinton coming in who had given a carte blanche to China to occupy the South China Sea. And why do I say that? I say that because the Philippine president, Robert Duterte, had clearly said that if America was keen to stop China from occupying the space in the South China Sea, they would have sent 5 aircraft carriers and put a stop to it. They didn't do that. And now they're sending some odd warship here and there for navigation purposes, which got no relevance. And now China has given a shocking blow to the United States, and America has realized that, well, China can be your friend. It is a competitor. Not a competitor, it is your rival and your enemy. Now this is a thing which Donald Trump has realized. So maybe if Donald Trump wins, everything will come on keel. It will be at the level. Now in America, there are only 2 parties as we know which matter, the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. The Republican Party, which of course is known as the Grand Old Party, of which Donald Trump is a member, is now the man leading the pack as far as the nomination for the president is concerned. Because in America, unlike in, say, in India or other places, the process of nomination and election takes a couple of months. And as far as things stand, I think in the last round of poll which they had, Donald Trump was way ahead of the pack with 51% of the votes, and his closest rivals were almost 30 points behind him. And one of the rivals, of course, Vivek Ramaswamy, has dropped out. He said, well, I can't stand and win the election. I got no chance, so he's called it quits. So, gentlemen, as things stand, the way it looks to me, Donald Trump is going to win this election. And once he wins the election, I think there will be a sea change in American policy. Donald Trump was the first man also who realized the danger of Iran having a nuclear bomb. And he made all attempts to put a stop to it. And later on, when Biden came to power, he was making all attempts to placate Iran. In addition, Donald Trump had stopped all funding for terrorist organizations like Hamas. But our good friend Biden restored it. So Biden has got a dubious role in the American politics. Maybe he's too old, maybe he's not able to think. Even Donald Trump is old, but he's vibrant. He knows what's happening. And he had a very good relationship with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So, gentlemen, for the good of America and good of the world, I hope all the charges against Donald Trump fall by the wayside. They're not progressed further, and that is very important. And if he comes to power, I think he will make an attempt to restore all the damage which is done by Joe Biden. Biden went into the battle in Ukraine in the most foolish way. He couldn't see beyond his nose, and he had declared Russia as an enemy. Well, Russia is not the enemy is China, and this is something which the American president should have realized, the American think tank, but they didn't do it. And net result is they drove Putin into the arms of the Chinese. Now, and there was a time way back, in 69-70, when the Chinese and the Russian troops were facing each other, and they had border clashes. So if there was a shrewd man like Donald Trump, he would have ensured that this situation doesn't come about. But gentlemen, this part of life, ups and downs in the nation's life, unfortunately, after Roosevelt, America hasn't had a proper president of any standing. All the presidents, starting even with Truman and Eisenhower and Lyndon Johnson, I mean, they're just washout gentlemen, who had very limited horizon. And they thought Truman thought he'd have all the military pacts, Eisenhower also thought the same thing, and all have gone for a bun. Where are the pacts now, which Ike was championing all the time? And then, the American think tank thought they'll have friendship with China. That's how they dumped Chiang Kai-shek into the Pacific Ocean, made friends with China. China took all the gravy, all the technology and everything, and they caught up with America, and then they showed his finger to the Americans. So, gentlemen, dosto, it's a very peculiar situation, and I don't know what's going to be the end result. Election is going to take place this year, and Donald Trump is the front runner, and if all goes well, he should be the President of the United States by the end of the year. I hope you like my video. Please share it with your friends. Come back for more. In the meanwhile, I'll say goodbye. God bless and take care.